Thank you for staying with us. We are still talking about housing and, of course, the policy enforcement, but we talk about that now. The issue of housing deficit was talked about earlier. We'll talk about building collapse right now. And in a simple check, we showed that in 2024, Nigerians experienced 47 building collapse. Those are documented ones, by the way, across 14 states, with Lagos, obviously, and apparently having the highest number of incidents. Now, just like Daniel said earlier, okay, maybe before we came online, from October 1974 to January 9, 2025, the Building Collapse Prevention Guild has reported 640 building collapses and 1,595 deaths. And, just like we said, Lagos accounts for most of these incidents. And it is not what we want to be hearing, just like we're having on the street. It comes with trauma, it comes with loss of lives, loss of properties, and the most is the loss of lives that you can never retrieve. And so many factors has been adduced to that. We still have Madam President here with us. Let's take it from there. When you hear the issue of building collapse, it sends shiver through one's spine to say, again, and we have gotten to that level of again in Nigeria. And so, how do you receive these news when it comes up like that? And what are the disposing factors? Why is this happening? Because you have talked about the architect being involved in the design, advice and all of those things. If actually you have been involved in all of this since 1974 till now, almost 2,000 people have died, documented from maybe there are more, from places that are undocumented. What are the reasons?
Oh, thank you very much. Always very sad when we get to this part of the conversation, and it always comes up. Why are buildings collapsing?
Exactly.
And you will discover that it's a more recent trend. In the olden days, it didn't used to be as much as now. So obviously, some things are happening that didn't used to happen then, that we need to look at very critically. Yesterday, I was at Cocoa House. Cocoa House was built 60 years ago, standing strong, standing straight, no issues of structural failure. So what is happening today in Nigeria? It's multifaceted. And let me start with the kind of materials coming into the country. And honestly, this is a great concern for us in Nigeria. The kinds of materials coming in, substandard materials, sometimes being used on site, is the cause of the building failure. And of course, when you have clients, developers wanting to cut corners, contractors wanting to cut corners, it also causes a lot of this building collapse. We do also have the fact that professionals are not properly involved. When I say this, I say it with a great sense of responsibility, because each time there's a building collapse, the first thing I do as president is send the chairman of the chapter of the state in which that building collapse happened. Go to the site, go and do an investigation, let me know, is there any architect involved in that project? I want to say that nearly all the time there has been no architect on any of those building collapse sites. So does it mean that these buildings were not designed by architects?
Even the big projects?
Yes.
The Ikoyi building collapse of this world?
Our architect was not, there was no Nigerian architect that I know that I was involved in that project. Now, sometimes what happens is this. They get the design from the architect. And after that, the normal stage 3 of our work, which is supervision, they don't involve the architect. They think, oh, it will cost us money again to get him to be coming to site. So they don't involve the architect. So the architect is not there to oversee the project, because the architect is the lead consultant and he's supposed to coordinate all the activities of the structural engineer, mechanical engineer, electrical engineer, quantity surveyor, the builder, and the contractor, all of them at the same time on the site. So if the architect is not there to give direction to ensure that the design is being followed, it's one thing to do a design.
Right.
I can design and have submitted, it's been approved, the client takes it and says, thank you, I don't need your services. You know, the engineer does a design that makes sure that your building will not collapse, and the client doesn't use his design, or the iron bender like we have in our clients. I can speak a bit of vernacular here, right?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Wọ́n kàn ná yín lówó ni, irin tí wọ́n ti kó sí ti pọ̀ jù. Gbogbo sìmẹ́ǹtì tí wọ́n ní ẹ lò yẹ nílò tó bag mélòó bẹ́ẹ̀. You know, that kind of a thing. And they will tell you that this bricklayer was the one that designed for their grandfather.
All right.
And so they don't want to listen to the professional. They don't even want you to be on site. They cut corners. And so this a lot of times. Or the developer who has an approval for 3 floors, whose design considers the load for only 2 upper floors, and then decides he wants to make money, and then takes the building up to 8 floors. Then you wonder, where are the building control officers?
All right.
Regulators. The regulators.
Yeah, which brings us to the next question.
Allow that?
Absolutely. Which brings us to the next question. But before that, for the sake of our viewers, the first building collapse in Nigeria happened in October 1974 in Oyo State. A multi-story building, just like you said, where some people will plant 3 floors and take it to 8 floors, a multi-story building caved in Oyo State in October 1974, killing 27 people. Tragically, that was the first case of building collapse recorded in Nigeria in 1974. And of course, the tallest building collapse took place on November 1, 2021, where unfortunately 52 people died in that incident. So you have said it, madam. The role of an architect cannot be overemphasized. I know an architect, a good one at that, who's also a project manager. So it's easier for him to coordinate the activities of all the other professionals, like you said, so that the architect is not sidelined. So some people may say, I think that should also be inculcated into your profession, the ability to manage projects such that you become absolutely indispensable in the process of these buildings. Going forward, you talked about... Can
I just let you know there that the architect is the lead consultant on a project. Whether you have a project manager or not, the architect is the one that coordinates all the other professionals.
All the other professionals.
Yes.
Yeah, and it becomes great when the project manager is also an architect. That's my point. Exactly.
Yes. So yes, it is. But you see, with or without, the architect has the responsibility to coordinate he is the one that conceives the design. All the others, their work is an input onto his design. So he has the oversight and coordinates all of them. Of course, like you said, when he's a project manager, even better still. Many of us are project managers. Yes. Many of us, either by additional training or even by our training basically as architects, we are able to be project managers. But apart from that, as certified project managers, many architects are now in that field.
Okay. All right, madam, which brings us to the question of regulation. Like you said, some developers will get approval to have a 3-story building, but they take it beyond that, they take it to 8. How come we are still having that in Nigeria? What are the regulatory agencies doing, or what agencies should be responsible for ensuring that people stick to the plan? When you architect, when you design the building, what agencies are responsible to make sure that people actually stick to the plan of that building to avoid building collapses?
The planning authorities in all the local government, state level, federal levels, they have different names in all the different states. They are in charge of that. They have monitoring agents. They are the ones who give the approval for 4 floors. They're supposed to be supervising to ensure that it doesn't go beyond. That is their responsibility. But beyond that, we have even charged our own members. See something, say something. I recall many years ago in Oyo State, when I was chapter chair many years ago, we saw a building that we saw was definitely contravening building approval. And we saw how dangerous it was. We went to make a report. So, everybody needs to talk. We have a culture of, Don't let them know that I'm the one that reported. Yes, it's not my business. I don't want to put somebody else in trouble. But you're putting everybody at risk. So we are championing the cause as architects. When you see something, even if it is not on your side, and this brings us to the point of enforcement of project signboards on sites. Every site must have a project signboard so that you can see this is the architect in charge, this is the engineer, and so on and so forth on every project. Our regulatory bodies, our building approval bodies ensuring this happens? They must. If not, it should be a criminal offense. People are dying because at the end of the day, you don't have evidence that you have thoroughbred professionals on some of these sites.
Is that statutory?
It is. It is. That you should have
a big project or even small projects?
Even small projects you should have. Well, not small, so small projects.
Like
small, yes, like that. But at least any project, worth its public use has to. But I think maybe these days we should even go beyond that and ensure that every building must have a project signboard that we can see that professionals who are properly registered
are the ones
handling it. In fact, our institute wants to begin to enforce that the stamp or the logo of our body is on those signboards so that you know that you can hold the NIA responsible if anything happens
compliance,
on any of the sites.
Now, I have a report in front of me here that have factors contributing to building collapse, and they have given structural failures to 24%, or structural failures 24.9%, substandard materials 13%, poor workmanship 12.2%, faulty design 8.8%, use of quarks 7.3%, inappropriate foundation 6.8%, and design error, and almost all of these things you have mentioned were seated there. But let's talk about the issue of quackery in your, I can see you giggling already, in this profession of yours. And one would say maybe anywhere, any place of the human endeavor, you get to see the real ones and the not so real ones. How have you been able to handle it? Because one will say, even there might be, where there are doctors who are, there are quacks. Let me say that we're presenting them to the doctors because I wanted to say that doctors that are quacks. A doctor can never be a quack. Only a quack can present him or herself as a doctor. How are you managing it? Because some people might say, architect, aki. Okay. One would take 1 million, they'll tell you, these are the elites. We are for you. Just been 200,000, we run this thing for you. How much of a problem is it, especially under your leadership, your tenure, and how are you handling it for public safety?
Thank you very much. This is a big problem for us. And the fact that most people are not able to differentiate between an architect and a quack. From the beginning, we said it's not everybody that draws that is an architect. And of course, even these days, you even see a lot of computer-aided graphics. You see a lot of 3Ds. You get blown away. They nice. It doesn't mean it was designed by an architect. In fact, I understand some people just even procure designs even from their phones.
AI.
Yes. And they don't bother to see whether it is done by an architect or not. Well, there are many ways in which you can check if this person is an architect.
Let's have it.
Anybody that is not properly registered by the Architects Registration Council of Nigeria to practice is a quack. Anyone who is not a member of the Nigerian Institute of Architects as a full member to practice is a quack. They're interrelated because you have to have gone through the professional practice examination conducted by the Nigerian Institute of Architects, now in collaboration with ARCON, Architects Registration Council of Nigeria, before you can be registered. So it goes to say, if your name is not on the register of architects, you cannot be called an architect. The ARCON, which keeps the register, published recently the list of registered architects and firms in Nigeria to practice.
I'm the client here. How do I know? You can know. How do I know?
This is the unfortunate thing. However, there are checks. Even for your building design to be approved at the town planner's office, you must have a seal of a registered architect with an architect with a registration number. So many people who cut corners many times do it willfully. I'm telling you. Like
on
you
the
said,
client part.
on the client part, willfully. Because for you to go to a doctor, you make your checks to know that is a qualified doctor.
Absolutely.
You don't just go.
So sometimes they're just trying to cut costs.
Most times they're trying to cut costs. But I must say that a lot of times, a lot of people have been fooled, and we are making a lot of advocacy in this direction. And also, we're going to also put across, maybe soon, a register, even of our own members registered to practice in Nigeria, in the newspapers. We will send to agencies so that people can know, universities, public places, so that people can know this is the list. So you can just check. This man who has called himself Aki Aki, like you put it, check. Is his name there? Or you can ask, are you a registered architect?
You always say yes.
Or can you have the registration number? Or then you can check with the institute. Our institute has chapters.
Yes. To tell me.
Yes. Our institute has chapters in all the states of Nigeria, including Abuja, 37 chapters. So you have records. ACON is also domiciled. We have an ACON representative in every state of the Federation. So you are free to check. It's important for you to know that if you're going to be investing so much money, trusting your life and the lives of others into such a building, you need to do it right. So go to a registered architect and stop patronizing quacks.
All right, architects. Let's look at the trend now. According to the Building Collapse Prevention Guild, about 55.28% of all the building collapse cases recorded in Nigeria are related to Lagos, happened in Lagos. Now, Lagos is supposed to be the center of excellence in Nigeria. And I'm sure Lagos has quite a large number of your, professional members right there. So how come it has become the highest? Lagos has recorded the highest cases of building collapse. What is your organization doing to check that? Does it mean you're not really involved in majority of the buildings in Lagos? Your professionals are not there? Are they all quacks? Or is it more of a regulatory problem than that of availability of professionals or costs of acquiring those professionals? So which one is it exactly?
Thank you very much. I think it's, like I said, it's almost multi-pronged. Regulatory factors is very critical because from the outset, the architect designs, most of these buildings in Lagos, big buildings, were designed by architects. They got approval of the seal of an architect. Thereafter, was the architect, the engineer involved in the project? These are the questions. The monitoring team of the regulators must work hand in hand with professionals. And something is happening in Lagos, and kudos to the Lagos State government on that. The Lagos State government is now partnering with the professional bodies, ensuring that every building is monitored, not just by their own regulatory teams, but by our members. So you will see a difference from now on. Before, there was that gap. But now, because of the synergy between the regulatory bodies and the professional associations, their synergy is ensuring that all buildings are monitored properly. So I think it has been that non-compliance, and non-regulatory oversight, as well as involvement of professionals. We have many architects, but do we call in the architects? I've told you, many of the clients, our people are complicit, cutting corners. I've heard of people use our students to design buildings. There was a building collapse in Jos. By the time our chairman of the Plateau chapter did an investigation, we discovered that it was a student that designed that building.
Quite unfortunate. So, all right, madam. This new initiative in Lagos, you talked about your professionals being involved. That Lagos model, how can it be replicated in other states? What is your association doing to ensure you replicate replicate such initiatives in other states of the nation and not just Lagos State?
Well, every state is autonomous, but I think states should be able to borrow from good governance structures. So our institute is meeting with governors. In fact, we've asked to have an appointment with the Governors Forum because, like I told in the beginning, we're solution providers. If we meet with the Governors Forum, we'll be able to solve a lot of their problems. The kind of thing that is working in Lagos was spearheaded by our members who are working in the Lagos state government. So if we're able to convince other governors, I'm sure it will be a win-win and there'll be less episodes of building collapse. Of course, in Lagos, also because of the nature of the soil, you can see that this is why it is happening more. But even despite the nature of the soil, when you involve professionals, they'll be able to do the proper soil test, know the kind of foundation to use, know the kind of structure to put on the building. And so it all boils down to use the right professionals, engage architects, and they will make sure that all other professionals are part of the project team.
Interesting that the numbers of times you have said engage architect. I think the marketing department will be waiting for you at the door to say
other professionals
to say you are there already now.
I did say
all right, but it's okay, it's fine. But this program is for the purpose of right information and public enlightenment, which I think you have really done this morning. Let me take you to a part of the question I asked earlier. The way you have identified the issue of quackery, and even that maybe in a state chapter an incident happened and it was traced to some students handling projects, and that's supposed to be an anomaly. Now, you are the president of the Institute of Architects. Let me ask you, what's the tenure?
It's a 2-year tenure.
2-year tenure.
Yeah.
Is this your first or second?
This is my second
Now,
year.
let me ask you your achievements so far. And I think it's right that we do that. For many of your members watching, the ones that will watch later. And I want you to start with the way you have identified the quackery problem. But is your institute able to apprehend, and you prosecute, and you report, and other achievements under your leadership?
Thank you very much. It's been a very exciting time as president of the Nigerian Institute of Architects. I must add here, I'm the second female in 65 years to be the president. And so it's been an honor and a privilege to lead the profession. What we have done very strategically at this time is more of advocacy and getting the public to be aware of the role of the architects. You mentioned it. They don't even know who we are. And sometimes when they know, they think we're only for a select group of people. So we've done a lot of advocacy. I've gone round policymakers, government. I've seen all the ministers, governors, as many people as I can, also to ensure that the Nigerian architect takes his place in design of buildings in Nigeria. You'll be amazed to know that we do have an influx now of many of our designs being done by foreigners. And I've gone to the houses, if you put it, the doorsteps of people, policymakers, that we have Nigerian architects who are more than able to do your designs. It's time for you to begin to use our people. We've also been able to, apart from making people more aware of the need to use architects, we've been able to raise the profile of architects, not only nationally, but internationally. The Nigerian Institute of Architects is well recognized all over the world. We have been guests at the Commonwealth Association of Architects, Union of International Architects, and African Union of Architects, where we play major roles. We are a voice to be reckoned with on the table. We are the ones, dictating the pace many times in many of these organizations. And so we've also been able to put the architects together, build up our numbers. You talked about numbers, and within the last 2 years, we've been able to add even at least almost 800 registered architects
in Nigeria.
Yes, to meet up the demand for architects in this nation. So we've been going around. I have what I call a Unite agenda to ensure that the Nigerian architect works, in unity, in collaboration with other professionals, engineers, quantity surveyors.
You've
builders.
just gone straight into my next question, because I'm going to ask you that. And here's a question. That's exactly, it was as if you were reading my mind. I was just waiting for you to land on that point. Now, here's the point. In other professions, let me use the medical profession. as an analogy right now, where you have different professionals claiming superiority. The doctor sees himself as the head of the food chain, and everyone is below him, which is not good for the profession. Every professional is important. It's not good for the sector. Now, coming to your case, we cannot overemphasize the importance of architects, but is there any synergy, okay, between architects and other professionals in the industry, quantity surveyors, engineers, structural engineers, and different professionals? What is your organization doing to create better synergy with other professionals? Because if there is a competition, that's when you say, oh, some people are trying to sideline some other people. If the synergy is not there, if one profession is claiming superiority, there will always be, that profession that will be sidelined. Do you have that synergy with other professionals in the building and construction industry?
Yes, we do. Thank you very much. Like I said, part of the Unite agenda is also to collaborate with other professionals in the building industry. Interestingly, the president of the Nigerian Society of Engineers is a woman, the first woman they have in the association.
Ever.
Mm. And we have been synergizing. We have meetings, we collaborate, and we've been trying to ensure that we work together. But you see, for us, there is no competition as such. It's a collaboration. There's no architect that will design a building and not involve an engineer. The structural, the mechanical, the electrical, the quantity surveyor, the electrical. We know how to work within a team. Yes, we know how to work in a team. However, we are the lead consultant because the architect is the one that brings his drawing, his design, particularly if it's a building design. If it's a bridge, we're not the lead consultants. But if it's a building design, we are the lead consultants. So we collaborate. But it's not about competition. It's about collaboration. Mm. We acknowledge the importance of every professional in the built environment team, and we work together. There's the Association of Professional, APBN, Professional Bodies of Nigeria. And within that sector, we even have the group of the built professional team, 7 of us within that, and we work together. We collaborate in functions. We also do workshops together. Like we're going to be doing a conference soon. We're going to be inviting them. They also speak. We collaborate. We do trainings, which we involve them in. So there's a lot of synergy in the built environment sector.
Okay. I was going to ask you as well. You have encouraged us, to patronize architects. How can we get more information, about your professionals? Do you have a forum? Do you have events that share information about your profession and what you do? So how can people, the general public, actually get more information about you?
Yes, we have architects in 37 states of Nigeria. Right now I'm in Osogbo because the Osun chapter is organizing a conference. And the conference is to sensitize the public about the role of professionals and what they should be doing in the built environment, not only in Osun State, all around. So in every chapter, I just came in from Abuja. The Abuja chapter just finished their own conference talking about housing. So all the chapters do have conferences where they draw in the public.
Is your conference open to the general public?
Yes. We're inviting, I don't want to advertise, but our conference is open. So they can come in. It is happening at the Aurora. Let me not advertise.
Please don't. Because I'm sure the marketing team are at the door waiting for you. And by the way, you can. I'm just a few millions here and there. All right. We most sincerely thank you for your time. It has been an elaborate one. And when you say you are the second president, female president in the institute, you see us clapping. I'm a girl's dad myself. So anywhere I hear about women flying high, I'm always interested. So congratulations to the first woman as well. And we hope we will have many women.
In fact, she's coming too. She's coming. She'll be around today.
We would like to
join me.
We would like to have her. So congratulations to you.
Thank you.
The Osun chapter of the NIA and the great work you're doing. And some of these challenges will not go away by wishing, by talking alone. You must push. You said you are pushing for the regulators, the government, policy makers, policy holders to do what is right so that we can have affordable housing, number one, and number two, safe homes, and so Nigerians can be better. We have been speaking with the national president of the Nigerian Institute of Architects. She's been here with us, architect Mobolaji Adeola Adeniyi, PNIA. She's called Pearl. Is that correct?
Yes.
And she's the 30th president, and she's looking like a pearl, actually. President of the Nigerian Institute of Architects, NIA. Thank you for your time and your take. And we hope one of these days you stop by again, and then we have conversations around this. We wish you, and all the architects, all the best.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure to be on your show.
Right.
Thank you.
Very well. We'll say our bars, but there is breaking news about the incident of the Ibom Air, the K1 and the K2 incident that has gone, notoriously popular right now, where the Minister for Aviation, Festus Keyamo, released a statement just a few minutes ago about the decision to withdraw criminal complaints against Ms. Comfort Emansin and to address related matters. And he's made so many things. Just quick one, in the last 48 hours, I've been in consultation with critical stakeholders in the aviation sector and those involved in the unfortunate incident regarding the unruly behaviors of certain individuals at our airport of recent. Two, though regrettable, we think valuable lessons have been learned by all sides to those incidents, and airport security protocol especially have been well highlighted for the traveling public. If nothing at all, the episode have undoubtedly helped to raise public awareness about appropriate conduct within the aviation space. And therefore, after reviewing the entire incident, including appeals made by well-meaning individuals and remorse shown by the actors, the following decisions have been reached. And, yada, yada, yada. So the point is decision to withdraw criminal complaint against Ms. Comfort Emansin and to address related matters have been made. We hope we won't get to see many of these ugly incidents again.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
As I was watching the screen, I had my hat in my mouth because I knew what happened next in that video.
We better not go there.
Absolutely.
All right. Femi Ojo is my name. Thank you for joining us today. We make a return tomorrow for another exciting, edition of this program. This program is on our YouTube channel. You can have a recap, especially for the architects and those that will watch later. Members of the public, God bless Nigeria. And whatever you do, please stay alive.
And of course, to you, our distinguished viewers, thank you so much for joining us once again on this edition of Morning Spring on Western Spring Television. As journalists, we will continue to speak to power, to say the truth, to hold our leaders accountable. And thankfully, Comfort Emansin is getting support. They've decided to withdraw the suit. The NBA is supporting her. We talked about that here on the show yesterday, and we are seeing results. Thank you once again for being a part of this program. Emeka Daniel is my name. Join us again tomorrow for a fresh edition of Morning Spring on Western Spring Television. Do have a wonderful day. Good morning.